Liberal hacks can't quit their attacks. Meet the media whores who want civil wars. They're the hatred spewers who still can't find viewers. First, CNN's Don Lemon. On Thursday, he told his 10 remaining viewers that Republicans are doing something that is very dangerous to society. Now, 2 million viewers will see it. Roll it, Jose.
Republicans are doing something that is very dangerous to our society. And we have to acknowledge that. We have to acknowledge that as Americans. We must acknowledge that as journalists, because if we don't, we're not doing our jobs. We cannot sit here and pretend like, well, Republicans, cut them a break. We want to hear whatever. They have a lot to answer for in this moment.
Yeah, there's a newsman. So much for CNN being less partisan. CNN was supposed to move to the middle, but that move to the middle lasted about as long as Brian Stelter swearing off corn syrup. He just chugs it down like it's water. Not to be outdone, MSNBC intelligence analyst Malcolm Nance this week rambled on about the sham Jan 6 hearings and right-wing extremism in America and implied that the Republican Party has become an insurgency.
A year and a half ago, when I was calling this an insurgency, people were actually saying that's crazy. Well, it is, and it's well on its way. It's closer to the beginnings of the Irish Republican Army. Irish Republicanism, where now the Republican Party is Sinn Féin. We may have to fight the they in my title. And the they in my title who want to kill Americans are your neighbors.
Wow. So he's openly suggesting Republicans are terrorists that must be fought because they want to kill you. Now, if a Republican said that, they'd be chastised for incitement, or they'd be Liz Cheney. And facts aren't on his side when his evidence is a terrorist organization that lasted decades in another country. And last, this guy is called an intelligence analyst. I mean, I know this is MSNBC, but this dude's more unbalanced than a seesaw with Jerry Nadler. Brooke.
Yes.
What do you make of this kind of rhetoric?
Oh, I have so much to say about this.
Unload, please.
First of all, I wish Don Lemon would come out and acknowledge, he is not for democracy. He doesn't believe in free and fair elections. He doesn't think people have the right to a different opinion, and he is not an objective journalist.
Yeah.
10 years ago, even maybe less, if a CNN anchor came out with this amount of disdain for, half of the American population, they would be fired right away. And normally, always actually, whatever the left accuses the right of doing, they themselves are guilty of. Mm-hmm. Recall Kamala Harris fundraising for a Black Lives Matter bail fund, right?
Yeah.
You remember when Chuck Schumer came out and said Brett Kavanaugh has to pay the price? And now you have this guy, Malcolm Nance is his last name. By the way, he wrote a book arguing that the way to counter ISIS is to empower Syria. And he also tweeted when 13 servicemen and women were killed in a terrorist attack in Afghanistan, he tweeted #deal with it, that's why we're leaving, which he had to apologize for later.
That.
So I'm not taking advice from these people. And I want to end with this. The greatest threat to our democracy is those who don't believe in free and fair elections, who don't believe in freedom of assembly, who don't believe in free speech. The left presents that threat, and they are open and honest about it, and it is very, very scary.
True. Kat, let's go back to Don Lemon briefly. Which should be the name of his career, Don Lemon, briefly. Do you think he knows his days are numbered? Because that's an open conflict with what CNN claimed they're going to do, which was to move to the middle. And then he just says half the country's a bunch of criminals or bad people that journalists should not take seriously.
Either that or he got super drunk the night before and didn't know what else to say because he said that a million times before. Yeah. like it should be something where we're like, whoa, that's crazy to say, but it's not because it's crazy how many times that he keeps saying it. It also doesn't help anybody because the way that people do become radicalized when they do is from nobody else talking to them, and they go deeper and deeper into what they already believe, and then they go even deeper than that into conspiracies and weird stuff. He sees himself as a hero for saying these things, but he's not solving anything and could potentially be making things worse. To think that your average person who maybe voted for Trump is a monster is just, it's not in line with reality, and that makes it irresponsible, even if it wasn't irresponsible in so many other ways, which it is.
Yeah, you know, Tyrus, neighbors fighting neighbors. I'm glad I'm not your neighbor. No, and Walter
I
said
kind
the
of
same
wish you
thing.
were. I would borrow everything. A couple things.
It'd be fun. Go in and just take
Yeah,
all the wine.
just take
and
stuff,
then,
yeah.
and then you just hear him scream.
As I shoot it in my backyard, he goes, "Good shot." A couple things. The brother Nance, he said,
Commandant
when they
Nance.
first said this, they said I was crazy. My brother, we're still saying you're crazy. I think you're so right, Greg, and we've both been fired a time or two. And we have this phrase called going out in the blaze of glory. We just saw his blaze of glory. He knows his days are numbered. So now he's trying to do what the woke do, because he's the official spokesperson for the woke. How's that working out? And you double down, and then you say things daring them to fire you, because then you can sue them. And so that we can't fire him. He's saying we're going to fire him. And he's saying that he's alone on the island. He just didn't realize that ever since people started mourning for things that doesn't bother him, corporations are now saying, you're fired. So this is his blaze of glory. He even had the tie off.
Yes.
He's not playing around anymore, and he's going after a side, and he's on the losing side, and he's daring CNN to do it. He's daring them to do it. So, and I wouldn't double dare them.
I have only one comment. If Malcolm Nance and Don Lemon are going to be the enemy generals, this is going to be the shortest civil war of all time. I mean, what are we going to name the battles? Lemon's Charge. The siege of the Santa Monica Whole Foods natural skincare aisle.
All right, up next, still Hillary persisted to make a show that's easily resisted.
Hey, Sean Hannity here. Hey, click here to subscribe to Fox News YouTube page and catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis. You will not get it anywhere else.